Hey Rosemary, welcome to your reading. Just want to say, girl, please forgive me for not having my nails done. I had to take them off today and I didn't have time to get them done. Um, but anyway, so a couple things before we jump into your reading. When I was meditating on your energy and getting that permission from your guides to read for you, they allowed me to feel, the like your energetic field and the intense heat of that lustful energy was like all encompassing. I mean, I have felt that before, but it was so strong and heavily around my face. So that told me a lot about, I mean, like Sammy thinks that you are, like extremely attractive, right? And of course that's where like lust comes from, right? It's not so much about whether or not they think you're intelligent or anything else that you really look for when you want a romantic partner, but they were just letting me know that it is 100% lust based. It's attraction based. It's all physical. Um, and then I asked them what part of you is kind of allowing that energy in. And I heard validation. It's a form of validation, to kind of, it reaffirms your belief in your own beauty. And then they asked me to explain another spiritual, like, kind of truth that has to do with sexual energy. I know we talked a bit about that on Instagram. But what happens because we are all connected? When somebody thinks sexual thoughts about you, it can quite literally, it can have a couple effects, right? So say for like example, you're in a relationship with somebody and another person is thinking sexual thoughts about your partner. Depending on energetically where they are, where your partner is, they could become uncomfortable around that person because subconsciously they are picking up on that person's like really lustful sexual needs, right? And if they're more loyal to you, that's kind of the reaction they'll have. They'll be like, they really won't understand why, but they'll just be uncomfortable around that person. They won't really like being around them because that's, they're picking up on that. On the other hand, right, when they have kind of certain unhealed aspects of themselves, they could also, because they're picking up on those thoughts, they can start thinking sexual thoughts about that person as well. Um, because that's the energy that they're sensing every day, right? We are influenced by other people's thoughts and emotions, subconsciously. We can quite literally adopt people's thoughts and feelings if we are not connected to our own intuition and can discern what is coming from us and what is coming from others. So what your team was really wanting me to ask of you was that you reflect on whether or not this truly is somebody that you would even kind of be thinking twice about, right? If this energy was not so prevalent right now, and affecting you, right? Because they are of the mind that it's not coming from you, period, right? Um, so I already shuffled and like on your energy, so all the cards were ready to go. I'm just trying to make sure that there was nothing else when I was in meditation that I picked up on that I'm forgetting. I don't think so. Okay, so let's get a little bit deeper into your subconscious, right, to see what's going on, and then we'll look into kind of what your team is also suggesting in terms of like protection. Okay, so divine consciousness, thank you for being here. Greatly appreciative. Thank you for the discernment to interpret these cards truthfully and clearly for Rosemary's highest and best good. Please show me Rosemary currently. Show me Rosemary in the current moment. Consciousness. Okay. The Emperor and the King of Cups. It's a really interesting combination. So this is telling me that I'm getting like you might have some barriers up around your emotional body. Um, the Emperor is somebody who tends to get a bad rap about it's a type of energy where this is like the divine masculine energy, right? And the fact that you're also coming up to here with like the King of Cups, another masculine energy, but he is someone that is also very in tune with his emotions. Um, so the downside of the Emperor can be that, represented by fours, when you have like foundations, is there's a risk of kind of wanting to hold on, right? Because what happens after the fours comes the fives, which are, difficulties. It can be loneliness, that kind of stuff, conflict, right? Fives are not fun. So when we get to the fours and you have this foundation set and you have a sense of stability, it can be really difficult to kind of want to move past that because it's known, you have that sense of like grounding. We're like, okay, we're good here in the fours. Let's not push our luck with the fives. But that can also create a sense of I'm getting like walled in. I keep hearing like walled in, like it can be making like, oh, they're just showing me walls, as in like it's kind of hard for you to see clearly right now, to connect truthfully with your emotions. And I think typically you are somebody that is very in tune with how you feel, but right now there's like this stuck. I'm just getting like this stagnancy around your emotions. Can we clarify just for one card for this King of Cups to show me where in her emotional body this is? Thank you. Let's see what this is. Okay, yes. So this is the lovers, right? Venus. So decision making and being in alignment with things. I think this is really making you question what is and isn't for you, what is and isn't good for you, and what actual action should be taken to bring your emotions like back into balance. And they just showed me the numerology. They're saying this is very much, they're bringing to my attention that, the 4 and the 6 being 10, which means that there's something here that, like a cycle that could be completed with this lesson. But that also comes with, you making the choice to kind of align yourself with that. Because 10s, they're obviously made up of 1 and 0, which is, 0 being that new beginning. Like it's the question of like, what if, and then 1s being that first like step towards the new. Okay, I'm going to pick this back up, and then we're going to look at, I'm going to take a look at a conscious goal, and then we'll look at subconscious influences, past influences, and incoming influences. Please show me Rosemary's conscious, conscious goal. The 2 of Wands. So to make a decision, I think, and this is based on your passions, right? You're looking at it more from a passion place. What do you feel like would kind of make you feel best? And of course, that's in alignment too with what we saw with the lovers, right? Trying to make that decision. Anything else on the 2 of Staves? Let's go a little bit deeper, please. Can you clarify the 2? Okay. Okay, there it is. Truth with the Ace of Swords here. And they just showed me this is actually my first time using this deck. But they're bringing to my attention there's Taurus and the Ankh in here, which is, the key to life. So they're saying this is, of course, your decision making rests in finding your truth, but they're highlighting to me the aspect of like Taurian energy, which is the earthly groundedness and like a loyalty to self, which is really interesting. You know, Taurians, they're very loyal. I myself am a Taurus sun. But um, the danger that comes with that is that we can be entirely too loyal when people, reveal themselves to us. Maybe in like potential, you might feel like there's a lot of potential here, right? But they're asking you like what action has been taken though. Because right now, everything that is here, ones and twos, we haven't even made it to three yet, so none of this has even come into like the physical realm. So when we are really focused on people's potential, they may or may not act on that, right? And that can really put us in poor positions when we recognize someone's potential, but they don't. And so when they're not doing that action, it's just like, well, then what are we waiting around for? You know what I mean? Show me Rosemary's subconscious influences, please. And thank you. Divine consciousness. Rosemary's subconscious influences. Thank you. And let me clarify this Three of Pentacles, please. They're telling me that, they're reminding me of that validation that came up again. So the Queen of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. I feel like you might have struggled in the past with your confidence, like in regards to your physical appearance. I don't know if you heard that. That wax just was super loud. Because they're literally like, I don't know why. You are absolutely beautiful. So that might have been something that you had to work on, right? Was your confidence, this knowing that you are beautiful inside and out. Yeah, and they're literally like Queen of Swords and the Four of Cups. This, like, to the point where you have to, like, the Queen of the Swords is somebody that is so sure of herself that you cannot bullshit her. She immediately identifies and uses that sword to cut through the bullcrap. They're saying, reconnect with your femininity. And this Four of Cups, one more for the Four of Cups. I'm getting a sense that they're like, are you... I don't think they're entirely too impressed with this, with Sammy. They're saying, like, are you bored? Yeah, okay. And strength. I think they're really wanting you to identify whether or not this is a connection that you truly believe would actually be fulfilling for you, because all of this that's going on, the subconscious influence is telling me, your confidence in the past was an issue, something that needed to be worked on, something that you might have even seeked that outward validation from, right? Because the Three of Pentacles is also about, very generally, it's about teamwork, right? So to a degree, relying on other people to kind of help you build. And then over here with the Queen of Swords, the Four of Cups, and strength, this is saying, like, there's a need for you to not only believe, but to know that you are beautiful, to know, your strength, to know that you are, they're literally saying, like, gifted, with this Four of Cups. And they're saying, really ask yourself, like, is this something that you're entertaining because maybe romantically you're kind of bored? Maybe there isn't much else going on in your romantic life right now other than this person who's just sending you lustful energy, which you can get anywhere, right? And I think, I'm not sure that you would, again, be totally happy with this. I think there is something greater that could come into your life if you were to make that space, right? I'm getting a very much like a sense of like, do not settle, right? Because we're only at the fours and threes right now. And strength in tarot decks, they can change, right? They can change between number 8 and number 11. In this deck, it's number 11. Which, again, the double one meaning new beginnings. Making that space, that decision to to like pursue a new beginning, to pursue something that, with the understanding that there is something better and more fulfilling for you out there. I'm going to pick these up and I'm going to leave this. I'm just going to move this around a little. And now let's take a look at past influences. Divine Consciousness, thank you for the messages so far. Please show me Rosemary's past influences that are affecting this situation. And this energy, that this warmth, the lustful energy is still... Okay. Okay, the Princess of Pentacles. Let's clarify that. Let's get some more on that. Ooh. I think they're saying patience might have been also like a thing that you may struggle with, which is okay. Totally relate to that. I'm even getting like, you might have been like of the mind that's like, you could ask yourself, like, when is my, kind of happily ever after? Like, when is somebody going to come and make me an offer that is stable and long lasting and, grounded? So here with the Six of Staves, like, it's like a one, yeah. I feel like this is something that it's a dream to have somebody that will kind of come in and like see your value, see just how valuable you are, because Six of Staves is really about, celebrations to a degree, but because you are aware of like how amazing you are, right? It's a celebration because you found success. So with that, and the star here is kind of telling me that now you might be doubting whether or not having like a fulfilling, committed relationship is something that is actually realistic for you. And that is something that is also needing healing, right? Because when we doubt that we are worthy of these things, that quite literally can create a block for us. And, we want to be able to have the space and belief and knowing that we are deserving of these things to attract them into our reality. Because what we want is already out there in the world. It's just about, when you hear people talking about, putting yourself in alignment of that, a lot of that alignment is literally just knowing. People talk about being like high vibe and stuff like that. That actually does not matter. And like one example I can use to kind of help make that more sense is that like one of the top professions for psychopaths, right, is like CEO, right? These are people that are super wealthy and not at all what people in the spiritual community would consider like, quote, high vibe. It is literally just that they are so often entitled, right? But that entitlement comes with a knowing, right, for themselves that they are deserving of that wealth, and so they in that way align themselves with it. You know what I mean? So they really want you to know, and not in any type of delusional way, but that you are absolutely 100% deserving of this. And to not lose patience, because it exists. It's not something that is out of reach, you know what I mean? It's something that may take time, finding that really that... Sorry about that, the recording cut off because apparently my disk is full. So I had to plug in my external hard drive to free up that space. But anyway, so yeah, moving on, let's look at... what the incoming influences are for you. Please show me incoming influences for Rosemary Divine Consciousness. And then we'll take a look at cleansing and protection and stuff like that. Princess of Swords. Okay. The Chariot. Movement. So this could literally be truth. Okay, in the world. Awesome. So like I said, this is about like cycles ending. The world is literally like the completion of, I even like to call them like eras, right? So that you can, because this is the end of the major arcana in tarot, which is the Fool's Journey, right? So you start with the Fool at 0, and it's literally just about each step of the process through, learning a lesson, or if it's, a situation, and anything like that. So when we get to the world, that is like the final place, right? And so then once you complete that, and it creates that space, and then like the Fool enters again, and you kind of start over again with whatever new lesson or direction that you're going in. So with the Princess of Swords, I think, this will be like communication when we talk about the Princess of Swords. This is somebody who has information, because swords represents, like intellect, conversations, communications, all that kind of stuff. And that paired with the Chariot is really, I think, you will have a conversation that will clear a lot of things up for you, but that will also really, I think, make things click in terms of what is and is not something that you should be going after. Because the thing about the Chariot is that there are often like opposing forces that are kind of pulling us in two different directions, and it can make our energy very scattered and us very unclear about where we should go, represented by the number 7, which can really, again, is like another risk of like stagnation, because there's so much going on at number 7s, and it's a time for reflection, that it can get really overwhelming. We can be like, I don't even know like what direction to go in, because there are so many options in front of us. Even if it's like 2 options, that can be overwhelming. So with this, I think that, sometime in the near future, you'll be having a kind of conversation. Even if this is a conversation with yourself, like this very well could be a conversation with him. But this could also be a conversation that you're having with yourself, where there's a lot of clarity, there's a lot of truth, because the Princess of Swords is somebody that is also using that sword to kind of cut through the BS, and they're just open communicators. They have a lot to say. And so with that, I think that will clear things up about whether or not this is a cycle that, you may want to either repeat, or if this is something that you completely want to close out. Because here with the Chariot, what really happens when you overcome that kind of energy is you're able to take those opposing forces, whatever they may be, even if it's just like your thoughts, and kind of wrangle them towards this common goal, so that all of that energy and all of that focus can be directed towards that common goal, right? And that's where like the overcoming comes into play, because we know now clearly what it is that we want, so that we can go towards that. Anything else on that, this incoming energy? Anything else on the world? Might not be anything else. It really could just be that. Let's see. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, and see, here's the other 7 of Pentacles. So, and this Queen of Pentacles. Lots of earth energy here. Are you an earth sign? There's tons of earth energy here. Okay. So with this Queen of Pentacles, they're telling me that this is you, right? Right now, here's the thing with the Queen of Pentacles. She is such a loving and giving person. But when that energy is imbalanced, it is a fault. It's a weakness, because she is giving so much to other people and she's not giving it back to herself. So when that energy is balanced, she is loving and giving, but she also has boundaries and expectations that are healthy, right? And then she can nurture and grow all that is around her, including herself. So with the 7 of Pentacles, this is really a card about, and I love the imagery here too, that it's using this plant. So like I was saying with, 7s really represent kind of a time of like reevaluation and stuff like that. So this is a time of like reflection, right? You're looking at the seeds that have been planted, and what has come of them thus far, right? So this is really a time of looking at it like, okay, I've put all this time and effort into it, and this is also where people can get stuck, is they fall into this, it's a fallacy that humans really do, where it's like, well, I've put this much energy, time, and effort into it, so it would be a waste of all of that if I were to abandon it now. No, absolutely not. What would be a waste is if you identify that this is something that is not for you, that is not working out for you, this is something that is going in a direction that you know is not in your best interest, and you're like, well, I'm gonna keep pushing at that in case something is to change. Like, no, identify that this isn't working for you. Trust yourself to know what is best for you, and give yourself the grace and love to move in that direction, even if it's a completely different direction than what you have been putting all of your energy into thus far. So this is a card of reevaluation, of saying, is what I have been investing all of this time, energy, and care into, is this the growth that I want to see? Is this, or is it not? Is it time to uproot this and plant new seeds, now knowing what I want and what's better for me? And this too, with all this earth energy, is really a lot about, grounding. About, I'm even hearing like just being loyal to yourself. Being loyal to your emotions, honoring them, not allowing other people to convince you otherwise either, because what is best for you. When we ask for other people's advice, it can be great to kind of get other perspectives, but we need to be very wary to not adapt that thinking as our own, because when we have everybody else throwing their 2 cents into the ring, it can be super easy for our own inner voice to get drowned out, right? And our own, like, we, do know what is best for ourselves. But when other people kind of question us and throw their 2 cents in, it can be super easy to be like, well, that's a good point, but don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, so let's talk about protection and cleansing. So I was getting, like, once the video cut, to just kind of share with you what I do to cleanse. So even like when I'm done, like between readings, when I'll cleanse the deck, I have like my own little incantation that I say to cleanse the deck of energies, to make sure that, like, one person's reading isn't dripping into the next person's, and then I'll even like wash my hands. So they really, like, small things you can do to cleanse, right? Like washing your hands. I go in with the intention that I'm cleansing, myself of that past energy. Even if you've heard people talk about like spiritual baths, you can take spiritual showers, and it's super simple. You don't need a tons of herbs and like crystals and all that kind of stuff. Those are things where, like, setting your intention that you are cleansing your energetic field, returning any energy that is not yours, or that you may have picked up or could have been sent your way, that you've been harboring. I just love using, like, for my spiritual baths, I love using Epsom salt and talking about, setting that intention that, that energy is being absorbed by that salt. If you think about, kind of the cleansing aspects of salt, if you're into any type of, I don't know, like, magic-y kind of witchy stuff. But yeah, it's something just as simple as Epsom salt, you know what I mean? Or even showers, again, something that, taking that shower and kind of keeping in your mind that you are cleansing yourself with water, which is like life force energy. Water sustains our life. You need that. So yeah, all those simple kinds of things. I even, throughout the day, sometimes you can say things like, everything that is not mine must leave my space now. You can say that verbally out loud, and then once you get better at it and can, like, start to sense that energy is leaving your energetic field, you can start, like, practicing even just saying it in your mind and increasing the strength of your will to cleanse. Let's see, what's another? I even have like a note on my phone where I kind of keep some of my favorite things to say. You can say my energy is shielded and protected from anything that may harm it. Visualizing is big too. I like visualizing that I'm like plugging myself, like pulling like a cord up from the ground to like ground myself, and then pulling a cord like up from the sky to like connect myself to the universe. I visualize my energetic field, and then like literally like a shield, like kind of think like force fieldy kind of thing around it, because those things, very much work. Even sometimes when I like feel headaches and things, if you can visualize kind of your like a shield above your head around your crown chakra, like all of that kind of stuff really like does work. So let's look at like protection. Because here's the thing too, is energy, when people are sending us energy, we have to be receptive to it. And that even goes to like baneful magic, like people that try to send people curses and hexes and like that kind of thing. I don't know if you've even heard about this like weird stuff that's been going on with Azalea Banks and Nicki Minaj. Azalea told Nicki Minaj apparently that she like had a curse on her, and Nicki believed it. Azalea was lying and has admitted that she was lying, but because Nicki believed that, you like allow that energy to enter into your space and can even like magnetize it towards you, even if nobody's like doing that, which is, you know, you have to be of the mind where like you have to receive that, you know what I mean? So as far as like his energy affecting you and coming into your dreams, if you decide that you do not want that, you can block that out. You know, you could cleanse, and then like after the cleanse, you verbally say out loud, you know, whatever feels natural to you, maybe anything along the lines of like, you do not have permission to enter into my space, you know what I mean? You do not have permission to enter into my energetic field. I am powerful, you know, I draw my power from a universal loving intelligence, from the source of all being, and then kind of ending it with something along the lines of, like, because I say so, so it shall be, or so it is, you know, anything like that. Just reaffirming your power, stating it, believing in it, knowing it, and setting that boundary, seriously. And then, of course, any time that you, like, may interact with him, that isn't immediately, like, allowing him into your energy, but if, say, like, I don't know, like, say he sends you, like, some type of lustful, like, message or something, if you entertain that and engage in it, that is allowing that energy back in, right? If you set that boundary right then and there, like, hey, like, that's really not, so you don't have to be like his, you know, whatever way, where you're kind of setting that boundary of, like, I don't accept that. That's how you can reaffirm that spiritual boundary as well. Let's see, any recommendations for specific forms of protection other than what I just said? Because that was just all like a channel. That wasn't immediately, they might not really have any other message through the cards, but let's see. Oop. Okay, there's that Three of Pentacles again. Yeah, this is about building, right? And they're saying this could even take time to kind of build up like how skillful you are at it. But it starts with the belief, right? And then through practice, there's like that knowing through your experience of being able to do so. And they're saying if they also as well, like if there was somebody else that I think you might have mentioned that you went to that was talking about like cleansing. If you feel like you want like, you know, any other type of help, it's totally okay to kind of reach out to people in your community for that kind of a thing. Ooh, anything else? Okay, yeah, see, here it is again. Okay, so, oh, that was, okay, 9s. Awesome. So, the Hermit and Seven of Wands. Judgment, okay, yeah, it's saying 3 and the Prince of Swords. Okay. So this is about going inward. The Hermit is all about finding that intuition that is, you know, we all have access to, but just might currently be like blocked off. So it takes that inner contemplation, and they're really saying, you know, separate yourself from this, from everybody, and once you can reconnect with yourself, like the truth is there. The truth is within you. You have it right now. It's just that you know, are kind of struggling to identify it. What this Seven of Wands and Judgment is telling me, you know, is that because this energy is being sent your way, like right now you are in like the good position. You absolutely can stop it from like affecting you, but you have to decide whether or not it really is, because I think part of it is like, you know, it's fun, right? Like to know that somebody is attracted to us in that way, and it can really be fun to kind of engage in and like flirt and do that. But you have to decide if this is really what you want. Because with this Eight of Swords energy, it can be really like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a willful kind of imprisonment, right? You're allowing yourself to kind of stay in this situation with somebody if that's the kind of treatment that you are accepting of and entertaining. But the thing about the Eight of Swords is that that's like, it really is something that you can like walk out of if you want to. You know what I mean? It by no means are you actually bound. So if you choose to walk away from it, that's literally like you, and of course easier said than done sometimes, right? But this is about, you absolutely have the power to stop letting this affect you to the degree that it is. Um, but it's, and this is saying this, it's about doing the hard work to like decide. Like three of wands and the Prince of Swords. You know, three of wands is about knowing that there's greater force out there, and taking that hard first step of actually like putting foot to path to bring that into our reality. So like the three of staves is really about like that first kind of push of wanting to um like have something actually in the physical world, right? Because threes represent the Empress. Empress is the bridge that brings like things that are in the spiritual realm into the physical realm. So three of staves is about taking that passion, what it is that we desire, and acting on it so that it is something that we actually, you know, can have. And the Prince of Swords, you know, is about being honest with ourselves and communicating that with whoever it is that like needs to know that, even if that is just ourselves. And the Prince of Swords too is someone who can kind of be like new to what he's doing, right? So he might not be like the most sure. He might not have experience on his side, but he's not letting that stop him. He's dedicated to like whatever it is that he wants to do. So this whole thing is telling me, you know, make the decision. Judgment, specifically like a card of second chances, is, are we going to do this again? Are we? You know, are we going to kind of resurrect this? Are we going to give it new life? Or is it time to kind of leave it in its grave? Has it served its purpose for us? Have we learned our lesson? Or do we kind of need to take this spin around again, right? And reconvene at a later time. Okay. I like to just kind of pull on like loving advice to close out my readings. So let's see if your guides have anything they just want to leave you with, and then we'll close out your reading, okay? Divine Consciousness, any loving advice to leave Rosemary with before we close out the reading? Boop, boop, boop. Any loving advice? So we have the Princess of Cups and Balance, so Temperance. So this is really saying, you know, and even with Temperance too, I'm getting, give yourself some time to reconnect with your emotions. Princess of Cups, oh yeah, and the Four of Pentacles. Trust in yourself, because you have that, you know, all the stability, all the support, all that you're looking at, you have access to that. Princess of Pentacles. That's what I'm saying. Give yourself patience. Give yourself grace too, I'm even hearing. But with the Princess of Cups, this is really saying, don't be afraid to communicate your emotions. And I got the disc is full thing again, so it cut my the recording again. Clearly I need to clear out some space. Okay, anything else to close the reading? Anything else, Divine Consciousness? Message to close. Thank you. Okay, so we have Temptation, which is the devil, and what is this? 13, Death. Okay, reversed. And then we have the Five of Cups over here. So because the Five of Cups came out first, this is saying do not be so focused on what you stand to lose, right? Because here's the thing about the Five of Cups, and I want to bring your attention to the imagery too, is that yes, there are 3 overturned cups, right? So this can really talk about missed opportunities. So you might feel like this is a missed opportunity if you were to walk away, and they're saying it absolutely would not be, because while there are these 3 overturned cups back here that this person is kind of like grieving, or like, oh, I wish I, you know, whatever, there are these 2 full cups over here that she's not even acknowledging, because her gaze is still focused on these 3 overturned cups. So this is like a perspective shift, right? They're saying if you want to focus all your energy on what you feel like you're missing out on, then that is all that you will see, and you won't even be aware of like the opportunities that are actually literally right within reach. Okay. And then here with temptation and death reverse, this is saying, if you this lustful energy, right? This really just sexual energy. Um it would have to come to an end, right? Because death being about transformation, this is saying that for a rebirth to happen, right, the death has to come first. It has to end to make that space. And you aren't fully embodying this energy, right? Of being like, okay, yes, I for sure want this to end because this is, this isn't the direction that I want to go in. There's something better for me out there, so I'm going to close out this energy to make space for the new one. And that's your decision to make, right? So they're saying this is just kind of where we're at, and you absolutely need to make that decision about whether or not this is kind of still where you want to be, right? So, give yourself time to reflect, meditate on these things. If it helps to talk to the people around you, they're saying, feel free to do that. But again, be sure that you are putting most of the weight in what you know for yourself to be true. Okay? All right. I hope that this helped. If you have any additional question, if anything wasn't, cleared, let me know. But yeah, I hope that this helped. I'll see you next time, Rosemary. Bye.